The number of coronavirus cases in the country has climbed to 1,616 with additional 49 individuals detected with the virus in Dailek, Jumla, Palpa and Nawalparasi. The number of COVID-19 cases in Nepal has been rapidly increasing in recent days as the government expanded the parameter of testing across the country. Meanwhile, the number of coronavirus infections globally has exceeded 6.1 million with more than 371,000 deaths so far. Good morning, I'm Amit Packerel and these are the top stories of this hour. Number of coronavirus cases in Nepal reaches 1,616 as 49 new cases emerged today. The death of a 2-year-old child confirmed due to COVID-19 death toll due to the virus reaches 8. Extension of the lockdown makes the lives of the low-income groups more miserable. Poor people find it difficult to visit hospitals even when falling sick. Hundreds of people protest in London and Berlin in solidarity with demonstrations in the US over the death of a black man after a white policeman knelt on his neck in Minneapolis. And England's Jadon Sancho scores the first hat-trick of his career on his first start since Bundesliga resumed in Borussia Dortmund's victory against Paderborn. The number of coronavirus cases in the country has climbed to 1,616 with additional 49 individuals detected with the virus in Dailek, Jumla, Palpa and Nawalparasi. 34 more individuals have tested positive for COVID-19 in Dailek. Meanwhile, the number of deaths due to coronavirus in the country has climbed to 8 as one more death was reported yesterday evening. The Health Ministry confirmed that the death of a 2-year-old child in isolation in Bajura district was due to coronavirus. Speaking at the daily press briefing yesterday, spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Dr. Vikas Devkota, informed that the government had so far carried out 111,109 rapid diagnostic tests and 69,582 tests have been conducted using the PCR method. 119,192 individuals are currently in quarantine centers across the country. Meanwhile, one more person has been discharged after full recovery from Bharatpur Hospital. The recovered person has been identified as a 25-year-old female from Makwanpur, Hetora. This takes the total tally of recovered cases to 220, including 172 males and 48 females. The government presented a constitution amendment bill at the House of Representatives yesterday. Minister for Law and Justice Dr. Sivamaya Thumbhahampe presented the proposal at the House of Representatives yesterday to amend the constitution by including Nepal's updated political map. The proposal was presented to change the national emblem in line with the release of the new political and administrative map of Nepal. The government had decided on 18th of May to issue the revised map of Nepal. The government presented the Constitution Amendment Bill at the House of Representatives to include the complete map of Nepal in the national emblem. The main opposition Nepali Congress had decided to vote in favor of the amendment, while other political parties also assured to support the amendment bill. Earlier on Wednesday, the government decided not to move the bill forward in the parliament as the main opposition Nepali Congress had not come up with its official decision through the Central Committee meeting. After the government presented a constitution amendment bill at the House of Representatives yesterday to include the revised map in the national emblem, focus has now been centered on what initiatives the government will take to retrieve all the territories encroached by India. From the time when the revised map was issued to the time when the constitution amendment bill was moved forward, the government made efforts for national unity by obtaining the support of all the political parties, including the main opposition, Nepali Congress. Meanwhile, the Central Working Committee meeting of the Nepali Congress took a decision to completely support the government in its effort to retrieve the country's territory encroached by India. Likewise, the other political parties have also supported the Constitution Amendment Bill and have exhibited national unity. India not only constructed a road link to Mansarovar, Tibet by encroaching Nepalese territory, it had earlier published a map by including the territory as its own. Nepal had protested against the map published by India and time and again had been requesting the southern neighbor to hold mutual talks regarding the disputed territory. Meanwhile, this time India has finally said it is ready to hold talks with Nepal on the border issue only if positive initiatives are taken. Foreign affairs experts opined that Nepal should now prepare for the talks by collecting all necessary proof of documents. 121 Nepalese nationals have died in foreign nations due to coronavirus so far. Based on the data shared by Non-Resident Nepalese Association, Nepal, 7 more Nepalese died in the past 1 week, including 2 in Bahrain and 1 each in UAE, the UK, the United States, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. The most number of deaths so far has been reported in the UK, where 66 Nepalese have died due to coronavirus. 19 deaths have been reported in UAE, 17 in the United States, 8 in Saudi Arabia, 3 in Bahrain and 2 in Kuwait. Around 14,425 Nepalese nationals residing in 34 different countries have tested positive for coronavirus so far. Over 4,500 have returned home after recovery. NRNA President Kumar Panta has assured the association will support the Nepal government in repatriating the stranded Nepalese. The lockdown has affected the low-income families the most. They are not only struggling to run their daily lives, but are also facing hardships in going to hospitals when falling sick. At a time when they do not have any source of income due to the lockdown, they can neither afford a taxi nor are they able to use the public transport to reach the hospital. Due to the lockdown imposed in the country, public transport has not operated for over 2 months. Security personnel have let taxis carrying the sick people run during the lockdown, but the poor cannot afford them. They have no option but to walk to the hospital. Taking into consideration that the laborers are facing hardships due to the lockdown, the government had decided 3 weeks ago to let industries run by taking necessary precautions. But the workers have no option but to walk to work as public transportation is not available. The passes distributed by the government to operate vehicles are only in the hands of people with political and administrative approach. Many people have been misusing the passes and have been using their vehicles unnecessarily. The government has yet again extended the lockdown in a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19. As the lockdown has been implemented for over 2 months now, it has been very difficult for the lower and middle class people to survive, and they have started to come out of their houses defying the lockdown. After the nationwide lockdown started in the country on 24th of March, the situation of the lower and middle class people is similar to that of Sita Podel. Sita, who has been selling roasted corn in Kathmandu for the past 15 years, has come out of her house to carry out her business, as it has been more and more difficult for her to support her family of 5. Although the police are on the streets to enforce the lockdown throughout the day, she has come out during the evenings when the restriction is eased and her business has started to boom. The situation of 22-year-old Binod Shah of Chapa district, who has been selling vegetables on the streets of Baneswar to support his family, is similar to that of Sita. As cases of COVID-19 increase in the country and the lockdown period is extended, the condition of low-income citizens will continue to deteriorate. Movements have been restricted across the country to avoid the spread of COVID-19. This has not just hurt the country's economy, but has also limited movements for people in need. We have a report.
One usually sees fruits and vegetables on sale on a cart. But for Dambar Bahadur Simkhada, the cart is all he can use amid the nationwide lockdown to carry his ailing wife to the hospital. Dambar Simkhada has been carrying his wife on a cart every week ever since the lockdown began. Dambar's 40-year-old wife Sita Simkhada has lost both of her kidneys and requires dialysis every week. For the two, however, an ambulance is impossible to afford. For Sita, who has already lost her eyesight due to chronic illness, her husband's descriptions are the only way to navigate the world. For them, the cart is hope, and each push forward is one of the many ways Dumbar ensures Sita that his love is unyielding. While government and leaders continue to commit that no citizens will suffer in the ongoing crisis, Dumbar and his wife, who are already struggling financially, is only one among many that have been further reeling under the ongoing nationwide lockdown.
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why has the government failed to pay attention to problems of chronic patients and low-income troops during the nationwide lockdown? And options are A, lack of resources, B, incapable management, and C, helpless, poor and vulnerable. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for our special segment, Off the Beat.
The Indian government has failed to fulfill the responsibility of repairing piers and spurs at the Saptakoshi River based on the agreement signed between Nepal and India. The agreement says repair works should be completed before the arrival of the monsoon. However, even as the Indian side has left Nepalese side with flood risk, the local administration of Nepal in Saptari district has remained a mere spectator. The Indian government had begun constructing a pilot channel to change the course of Saptakoshi River last year. As a result, almost 2,000 households in Saptari districts, Hanuman Nagar, Kankalini municipality and Tilati Koiladi rural municipality saw floods last monsoon. The river has now begun nearing the piers in the west, raising the risk of inundation one more time. Citing the need to strengthen the piers, soil and sand have been excavated from land area as close as 100 meters from the very piers, adding to the existing risk. Experts say excavation of soil or sand can only be done after a perimeter of 1 kilometer. The locals have urged the local administration to take actions, however all complaints have fallen to deaf ears. Furthermore, locals say the district administration has not even monitored the ongoing works, citing lack of authority. In the past, thousands of households have been inundated in monsoon seasons, with scores dead, but the problem persists. The fitting works of lower vertical shaft of Upper Tamakosi Hydel project has been completed, even as the country is going through lockdown. Project spokesperson Ganesh Nupane informs that the fitting works of 373-meter lower vertical shaft has been completed and the only works remaining are the completion of 54-meter upper vertical shaft. The Upper Tamakosi project office has said that the test transmission will begin within just over a month's time. Estimated to be completed at the total cost of 35.33 billion rupees, the project's running cost currently stands at 48 billion rupees. Many parts of India and Pakistan reported of swarms of locusts that have invaded farmlands in recent days. Meanwhile, army worms have been causing havoc in the eastern district of Sankhua Sabha. In addition to lack of market for their producers due to lockdown, these worms have been destroying the maize cultivation. Devendra Khatri of Khatbari municipality in Sankhua Sabha, who plants maize in 15 ropanis of land every year, says the maize in his field was infested with army worms within a month of plantation. Most of the farmers in the area have spread pesticides to get rid of the worms, but have been unsuccessful in doing so. Around 12,000 hectares of land in Sankhua Sabha districts is used to cultivate maize. Army worms have reportedly infested on crops on 3,000 hectares, while crops on 750 hectares have already been destroyed. Farmers say they have not been able to get rid of the worms despite spraying pesticides on their crops 3 times. This is the first time that Sankhua Sabha has seen army worms at this scale. This is Sarah Sapsandama for Off the Beat and Kantipur News Desk.
And that's all for this hour. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a good day.